I just recently became medicated because I thought being on medication was a bad thing, because nobody really talked about this stuff. If I am dark on social media, I'm usually having a really anxious or depressed day. Hey guys, it's Candace the Edgy Veg, and today we are doing a mukbang. So I just ordered some of my favorite food from a Pike Lips. I ordered it for the team. I just thought that it would be fun to sit down and talk to you guys about a topic that comes up a lot on my Instagram, and just like eat some comforting pizza. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 o'clock. And leave me a comment in the comment section below if you have a specific topic that you would love for me to talk about. So I asked you guys on my Instagram what you guys wanted to talk about, if you guys had any specific questions about anxiety and depression, so we can get into that. But first, everybody come get your lunch. All right, on the menu today is a Pike Lips, which is one of my favorite kind of vegan comfort food places here in Toronto. They're awesome, awesome people. They make a really bomb, like North American style pizza. This one, I believe, is the Toronto Island. Yes, this is the Toronto Island pizza. There's some barbecue soy curls, pineapple. You know what? Let me know in the comment section below if you're a pineapple on a pizza person or not. Barbecue sauce, we've got vegan bacon crumbles, and we opted in for the everything bagel crust. So that's super exciting. Then we have some dips. We have some chipotle. I think this is chipotle cheddar, a bunch of garlic, because, I mean, that crust needs to get eaten with a delicious garlic dipping sauce. Then we have cauliflower wings. These are barbecue with a dill. And then, very Canadian, we have a delicious vegan poutine.
For the record, I am not a pineapple on pizza person.
Why didn't you say something?
Oh my god, this crust smells so good. This is the everything bagel one.
Yeah.
I am 100% team pineapple on pizza.
Molly picked this one today. All right, guys, before I jump into your questions, I thought it would be important to first talk about why I think talking about anxiety and depression is important. So I suffer from both anxiety and depression. I'm medicated for depression. I just recently became medicated because I thought being on medication was a bad thing, because nobody really talked about this stuff. For me, I think that the more that we talk about it, the more we realize that we're not alone. So I didn't realize how many people were either super anxious like I am or suffered from depression until I started talking about it, and then people said me too. I think it's important for us to share different coping mechanisms and strategies, and so this is why I really wanted to make this video. I also, in my I ate like cheap lazy vegan for a day video, I showed me taking my antidepressants on screen and asked you guys if you wanted a whole video about that. So here we are. I'm gonna take a couple bites of my food first. Definitely a napkin. I went into my Edgy Veg Instagram on my stories, and then also my personal account to ask these questions. So we're going to hit both. This is from Miss Sarah. How long did it take for you to realize you needed help managing? What was there a trigger? I had a pretty traumatic experience in my life that came from a result of me not being able to manage it, and I ended up without really having a choice, I ended up having to talk to someone. And that's kind of when I realized that it was a problem. I had a lot of really dark thoughts that I thought people just, I just thought I was a negative person. Thought I was just a sad person. Once I realized how much talking to someone and realized how common it was, that was kind of when I was like, okay, maybe I do need help with this. Even just having a conversation with a therapist a couple times a week really helped me to manage those emotions. Are you aware of what your triggers are, or do you have any at all? Yeah, I have a few triggers. I have a lot of abandonment issues, a lot of people pleasing. So the way that my anxiety manifests is a lot of social anxiety, believe it or not. I am just this insufferable people pleaser. So I just want everyone to like me, and I can't stand it when someone's when I feel like someone doesn't like me, or if someone's energy changes around me, I always think it's my fault, which will cause me to retreat. So that's interesting. Stress. I just don't manage stress well. There's a couple traumatic things in my life that, if I think about them, or certain people reach out to me, I got into a weird headspace. I'm very much an empath. So if you are in a bad mood, I will just assume that it's about me, which is a super narcissistic way of thinking. Family a lot of the time, which is not to say I don't have a great family. I do. But sometimes the people closest to you can be your worst triggers. I want to be vegan, but my anxiety/depression has me addicted to fast food. Tips. I guess it depends on the fast food that you're eating. I'm also definitely a binge eater. When I have anxiety or depression, it just makes me feel good to eat junk food. I've just figured out the ways to have all my favorite junk foods at home. That's kind of how this whole thing started. I know what restaurants I can order from. I know what food to make at home. And depending on where you live, you can definitely set up that type of like food support structure, if you will. Why can't it go just itself? So tired of it. I hear you. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere and you don't even know what it's coming from. That wasn't really a question, but I definitely can relate to that sentiment. How did you manage a breakup with anxiety? I feel like death every day. I did nothing for like 3 months. I stopped working. I didn't have videos out. I couldn't do anything. I was in bed a lot. I wouldn't say I really managed it. I saw a therapist twice a week, and luckily I just happened to have some money saved up. So the working thing it was scary not working. But it could have been a lot worse. And with my therapist, I worked through a lot of coping strategies. One thing that really helped me was dialectical behavior therapy that I did, which is for BPD specifically. And I found that made me a lot more emotionally intelligent and aware. She also taught me to notice when things are happening. So if I'm starting to dissociate, if I'm starting to feel a little off, I can feel like my anxiety kind of creeping in. She gave me ways to deal with it. It really depends on what type of anxiety I'm having. Then I go into my toolbox and I pull out the appropriate tool for that type of anxiety, and then I deal with it. And sometimes I don't deal with it, and then I sleep for 24 hours, and that's okay too. You have to be compassionate with yourself. And that was a big thing that helped me overcome. I had a lot of guilt because I was like, you're just lazy or you sleep all the time and like, what's wrong with you? And I just had to switch my inner narrative to be like, you have to be compassionate to yourself. Like you're allowed to take a day in bed if that's what you need. How do you find motivation when you really don't want to make videos? In my case, I hired my friends. Actually though, I didn't work for like 3 months because it was just me and I was too afraid to ask for help. I couldn't get myself motivated. So I found a team that motivated me and made it fun. And some days I still wake up with anxiety, but it's been not as frequent before a shoot day. Thanks.
No problem.
You always have to surround yourself with good people. I mean, there's definitely days like today, I had really bad anxiety when I woke up and I had someone here to be like, it's going to be fine. Just take it one step at a time. And that's amazing. That's what you need. You need to surround yourself with people that know how to talk to you in a validating way.
Those wings are so good.
It's my garlic sauce.
Ooh.
Are you guys, do you want more? Come here, get more.
If you hear the pitter patter of little feet.
How can I better support my friends living with anxiety and depression? I like that.
That's a really good question, actually.
That's a really good question. Like, what can I do? I mean, I think validation's huge. Like, one of the worst things you can say to someone who's having really bad anxiety is like, don't think about it. Or like, just relax. I find like knowing the appropriate things to say, like, instead of saying like, I'm here if you need anything, like, let me know what I can do to help you, so it's not so much work on the person having the anxiety.
Yeah, because then like saying it like that also implies that like that person needs to do the work to like reach out, and sometimes a person who's dealing with that feeling of being anxious can't reach out. That's the point. So.
And a lot of times when people are depressed or anxious, they don't want to burden other people, so they say that they don't need help, but they do.
I mean, like it's funny because like you hired like me and Molly and stuff to come and like help create the content and all that, but like we all I think deal with like a modicum of anxiety and depression in our own like group inner circle, and like even though I'm here to help make it all happen, you are like an amazing support system like for me too. If you have friends dealing with anxiety, or if you're dealing with anxiety, surround yourself with people who get it.
Yeah.
And can be there for each other during those times, because there's no like right or wrong way to do it, because there's no blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. I remember, especially in my last relationship, he always wanted to fix everything. And then I kind of felt like he was telling me, like, there's something wrong with me. Whereas I just wanted someone to listen to me. And, like, sure, you know, this thing that I have to do is causing me anxiety, and anxiety to the degree that I can't get it done. So telling me to just get it done anyway is not going to help me. But maybe talking it out and, like, letting me come to my own strategy of how to deal with it through like probing questions or whatever, like that's a really great way.
Sort of as like a weird aside, I find structure really helps me. Like shoot days are nice because like we come and like we plan everything, it gets done, and then it's like there's hours segmented for work. Like I go through periods where it's like I don't want to see anybody. I isolate. My bad toxic trait is that when I deal with stuff, I like distance myself, and then I become a recluse. And like I think putting yourself around people who are motivated to keep doing things and having structure, whether it's like in work or like in a hobby or exercise, makes my days. a million times better.
Yeah, there's been some moments where like you can tell that I'm going through anxiety because I'm not like responding or I'm being really short, and then you always send just the nicest, most supportive messages to Mo, and I always cry. Mo was like, oh, I have such good people in my life.
I think part of it's just like being reminded that like you're really good at what you do. And like sometimes people don't say that enough, and it's like nice to have that validation. It's not even validation, but it's just like nice to hear that. Like it doesn't cost anything to be nice.
Oh, totally.
Everyone's getting like really hateful online.
Yes.
I've noticed lately, and I'm just like, be nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. That poutine is really good. It's
right?
ridiculous.
You are relentless. Would you sit? Look at how good your brother's being. I really like this pizza.
Mm-hmm, it's good. How do you deal with being online and separating that from what you're dealing with personally?
If I'm having a bad day
Yeah.
and I have to go do something, I had this event and I like called the woman that works on the team with the management team that helps me get brand deals and whatnot. And I was like, I can't go. I have to cancel. Like, I can't. And she had to kind of just talk me through it, and then I ended up going. But my anxiety was just like, nope, you can't do this today. So for me, it's like having a good support system of people. It sounds really easy and stupid, and when you first start dealing with it, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like just sitting and breathing, and like it's amazing what that can do. Like sometimes instead of just like spiraling, which I will tend to do, which I used to do a lot more of, but now I can be like, okay, no, stop, just like sit and breathe. And sometimes I can do that, and sometimes I can't. I didn't think that the food that I had prepped for the demo was enough food. Started to freak out because I forgot an ingredient. I thought I was going to be late. I was doing it completely on my own. So I kind of, all those things just made me feel super overwhelmed. So I just kind of started to write down the things that were giving me anxiety and then how to tackle each one. So that's kind of how I deal with it. If I am dark on social media, I'm usually having a really anxious or depressed day. Luckily, I have a career where I work for myself, so I can give myself the boundaries that I need for how bad my anxiety can be and how bad my depression can be, and that's very fortunate, and I know that I am in a very privileged place to have my life built that way, and I think I worked really hard to build a life that kind of accommodates that. I used to be a chronic bailer, used to let people down all the time, and now I really try to not let that be my signifier. I know now I'm going to have anxiety before a big event, so what can I do on the days leading up to that to make it easier? How do you talk to a doctor about it and get them to take you seriously? I was very fortunate in that I had been seeing my therapist for a year and a half, and I couldn't get things done, I couldn't concentrate, and she was the one that suggested I talk to my GP about an antidepressant. And then I talked to my GP about it, and they were like, okay, yeah, no, if she thinks that that's a good idea, let me ask you. She asked me a bunch of questions, and then we tried to figure out which antidepressant was the right thing. I find it's important to stand up for yourself, especially as a woman. We're often not taken seriously by doctors or healthcare professionals, and you just have to, I've been in situations where I'm like, no, I'm not leaving until somebody listens to me, or I'm not leaving until I get this thing. If it's that important and that bad in your life, like your depression or anxiety, that you feel the need to go see a doctor, it is that bad, and you have to make a case for yourself, and sometimes unfortunately that requires arguing with your doctor. But just be honest, don't sensationalize, and educate yourself, and just go in there like letting the doctor know that you have an informed opinion on this, and this isn't like, maybe it's your last resort and you've been trying to deal with it on your own for X amount of time, and share your hesitations and be honest and be vulnerable with the doctor. I find that that's really helpful too. I've started using weed oil for anxiety. How do you deal with the major munchies? I just eat all the time. I'm a big snack person. I like to graze all day. I like junk food. I like candy. So I guess in short, I don't really deal with it. I just, if my body wants to eat something, I just eat it. I don't follow really a diet other than, not that veganism is a diet, it's not, but for some people they're like, well, you do because you're vegan, but look at what I'm eating today. But I try to be really good most days, but not that there's good foods and bad foods, I don't want to say that, but I try to eat more balanced most days so that when things like this happen, I don't feel guilty about eating a giant bag of Swedish berries or whatever. How do you talk about it with family, especially older ones, grandparents and grandmas? Yeah. My family first didn't really like believe in depression. It's a hard thing to talk about, but the more you talk about it, the easier it gets. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. You know, my mother went from being someone that didn't believe that depression was a real thing to being very empathetic. And that was a really scary thing for me because I always knew growing up that she didn't believe that depression was a thing. But through my experience and what I went through, because I'm so close to her, she was able to see that this is more than just sadness. How do you tell new people that come into your life about it, i.e. new boyfriend or friends? I recently started a new relationship, and I like straight up when we had that conversation about like being together, I was like, all right, take a seat. Here's some things you need to know about me. And if this is something that, you know, maybe you're too selfish, and being selfish isn't always a bad thing, but if this makes you uncomfortable in any way, if this like brings up red flags for you, then maybe it's better that we don't pursue this. Because I've been in relationships in my past where the person didn't understand, the person didn't go out of their way to be, not even accommodating, that's the wrong word, but like know what to do and learn the patterns and be compassionate and be empathetic. They just never got there. In my new relationship, definitely was like, all right, here's the things we need to talk about. Here's how I deal with them. Here's what this looks like. Is this something that you can handle? Because at the end of the day, I don't have a lot of time, and I don't want to waste time on someone that is gonna think that I'm a crazy person because I have anxiety. Society sees people like us as a lot of the time like broken and damaged, and that sucks. And so by talking about it, we make it a lot easier, and by showing the average person someone that looks average or looks normal and then show them that you're struggling with something, kind of normalizes it. Okay guys, I think I've been sitting here for like 30 minutes talking, so I'm going to stop. If you're suffering from anxiety and depression, you know, do reach out to someone. Like, you can't tell when somebody has it.
Yeah.
And people are scared to talk about it. So, you know, don't be afraid to talk about it. The more we talk about it, the more normalized it becomes, the more we can share about our, like, how we deal with things, the better. So always feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I'll leave those handles in the description box below. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. If you want more videos like this, leave me a comment in the comment section below letting me know what topics you want to talk about. Also, you can let me know if you're struggling with something and you're looking for some advice. And, you know, we're a community and we can help each other out. So somebody's going to have an answer to your question for sure. And hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye. I love pizza.